on GoSuffolkRams.com. From Boston, Massachusetts, welcome to Suffolk Sounds, the official show for Suffolk University Athletics.
Welcome in, Ram Nation, to another edition of the Suffolk Sounds podcast. I'm your host, Nick Perenick, and alongside me today is one of our newest hires here at Suffolk Athletics, our women's soccer coach, our fourth in program history, Ellie McDougall. I'm very excited to have her on the podcast today to kind of talk about her experience as a player and as a coach so far, and her transition into Suffolk University as she looks forward to her first season with the Blue and Gold in 2022 in the fall. So without further ado, I'll welcome her right on. Ellie, welcome to the show and welcome to Suffolk Athletics. Really happy to have you on and happy to have you in the athletic department.
Oh, Nick, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
So let's get into a little bit of your background so Ram Nation can get to know you a little bit better. You've played at the collegiate level, you've coached at multiple other colleges. So give them a little bit of a background. You're a defensive kind of specialist here as being a goaltender in college. So tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, grew up not too far away in Granby, Connecticut, playing all types of sports. Soccer just kind of hit a little different for me. My brother played it, so anything he did, I kind of did. So I played my club soccer in Massachusetts, and then got recruited to go play out at a small private Division II school at Mercyhurst University in Erie, Pennsylvania, which, fun fact, is the snowiest city in America. And they did not tell me that on the recruiting trip. So it made
they like to keep that one hush hush.
Yeah, they kept it hush hush. But so I was a goalkeeper there for 4 years. And around my sophomore year of college, I approached my coach about the idea of coaching. And I always coached youth camps at around my town and where I grew up. And I was always involved, and I always really, really enjoyed it. And, being a goalkeeper from the back, you kind of coach on the field anyway a little bit. So I always thought that was something I wanted to do. So I approached him my sophomore year about it. We talked a little bit about it. And he said, hey, if you want to, at the end of your 4 years, you can be my graduate assistant. So I kind of put that on the back burner for a little bit. It wasn't until around my senior year, I thought I was going to go into the FBI and be in the government. And then I had a really, really bad internship where I was kind of, watching the clock all day and thinking about soccer. So I kind of then solidified, I can't work, in a 9 to 5, I need to be coaching. And so I, took up my coach on his offer about being a graduate assistant, and I stayed on for an extra 2 years as a coach at my alma mater. So that was where I started. And then I was fortunate enough to, once I was graduated from the master's program and was done with my 2 years there as a coach, I was hungry for more, looking for more, trying to find a new place to learn. And that's where I ended up at RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. It is in Troy, New York. Small Division III school in the Liberty League. So I got there, and it was a whole new experience with Division III, and one that I truly enjoyed. My boss, Marina Cicero, she taught me everything, and I needed to know about the division, about how to run a program, culture, and a lot about life. So I owe her a lot. And then everybody in that department was great. It's a really well-run, top-notch department. And then from there, I thought, hey, I think I'm ready to try and take that leap to the next step. And this position opened up, and I heard really good things, and I knew that they were on the onwards and upwards. And with the last previous coach and their record of joining the CCC, it was a really competitive league. So I was super excited about that. And I know that the athletic department really invests in the athletics and in athletes. So I think that it was a really good fit. And when I saw the opportunity, I jumped on it. So super, super happy to be here, just getting my feet wet, and excited and hungry for more.
Yeah, it's great to have you here, and great to hear all the journey you've been on in Division II, Division III, and now at a Division III school. And it's funny, you were at 2 Division II and Division III schools that had Division I hockey, men's and women's hockey. What was that like for you as a student athlete, and then as a coach, like with that kind of camaraderie? Was it kind of cool with the camaraderie with the
very cool, very, very cool. So we had in both schools, you would share the weight room with Division I athletes. And at RPI particularly, they had a big board of, they would compete and you'd do different types of exercises, squats, deadlifts, things, and they had challenges. And if you were the best, you went and you could squat the heaviest, deadlift the heaviest, your name went on the board. So our soccer players were competing with Division I women's ice hockey teams, which was a kind of a cool, we were back and forth on a lot of things. We beat them in a lot of the running, but they would beat us in a lot of the lifting things. So it was a, it was a good recruiting tool in bringing kids in. Hey, look, you're competing against these Division I athletes. You're getting the same training as these Division I athletes are. So I think it was a really nice tool. And I think it was good for our girls and at both programs. As a player watching hockey, it was a lot of fun, and also competing with them in the weight room was a lot of fun.
And during your time at Mercyhurst, you were a goaltender, and then you worked pretty much exclusively with goalies and defensive players, if I'm not mistaken. What was that like for you? And how do you see that, kind of transitioning here with Suffolk?
Yeah, goalkeeper, I was a goalkeeper, and so that position's always got a little place in my heart. I loved working with them because, it's a union. It's a little family amongst the team. So I loved having 3 or 4 goalkeepers to work with. I think they loved having it. It's good for training purposes. But I want our goalkeepers to be a big part of the team. I don't want them to feel like they're isolated on their own. But I also know that it's an extremely important position. For me, I want our goalkeepers to be a big part of our attack. So I did a lot of servicing drills, a lot of foot skill drills, and my goalkeepers hated it when I was at Mercyhurst. They're like, "Coach, we don't play with our feet," and I'm like, "You will now." So yeah, it's always held a little place in my heart, and I'm looking forward to getting to know our goalkeepers and moving forward and recruiting some good ones and bringing them in here and getting them part of the Ram Nation. So.
And how has recruiting been going for you? Has there been a great reception for first time new head coach? Must be challenging, but I'm sure it's a good challenge.
Yeah, it's been good. I love recruiting. I think that's one of my favorite pieces of the game, and it's all, bringing talented players in is fun. I look at it like a chess game, and who can you bring in and what pieces do we need? And so for now, I've been making a lot of phone calls, lots of phone calls to club coaches, to kids, and seeing who's been, who can fit and who's been in contact with the previous coach. So it's a lot of phone calls, but we're making it work, and we got a good couple, a good class coming in, a good class size. So I'm fortunate about that, and I'm happy because as long as they want to be part of Suffolk and they're ready to work and make soccer a priority, I'm up for it. So recruiting's going pretty well.
Great. Now you've been here since about February inside Ridgeway, and now you've transitioned with spring practices to the field over in East Boston. How has it been so far for you in this transitional phase, and what have you seen so far from the team, and what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, it's been great. The girls have been super, super receptive. I told them that I'm here for, I'm all in, and I'm here to serve you guys. And these next couple of weeks are going to be a really big assessment of me, of what we need to do to get to where we want to go. So I think just watching them play and seeing where they're at and seeing what we need to do and the pieces for the fall and then working towards them, I think that's the biggest piece. But what I told them, I was like, hey, a non-negotiable for me is effort. As long as you give me shocking effort where I'm like, wow, that was impressive, I think we're going to be good. So they've done that so far. They've given me a lot of effort. And really have been great with my transition and getting to know the ins and outs of East Boston, getting to the field and the athletic department. So they've been super, super helpful to work with. So.
Hey, you just mentioned, getting around the city. What has the city, the non-traditional urban campus, been like for you? You've been at 2 schools with probably traditional campuses, everything on campus. So what has that been like for you so far to be able to go over to Eastie and use the great facilities we have over there and navigate the rest of the city, especially being in downtown?
Yeah, I love it. I'm on my A game with organization. That's the best piece about it. I think, it's a cool part. Not a lot of places in Boston and not a lot of schools have what they can call their home facility unless you're this big Division I. So I think it's really cool that we have our own place to call home, and that we can go to it. And so, sometimes I'm like, girls, take a round. We're in Boston right now. This is pretty cool. So I think I'm adjusting to it really well. I'm organized more than ever. So I love going over there. And I think it's cool that, you're in this great city and that you can play right in it. You don't have to go outside of it. So I think that's a really big perk of what we have going on here at Suffolk. So.
Yeah, and how has things been in the athletic department for you? How has everyone been welcoming you in so far? And have you enjoyed, being right next to Bill, the men's soccer coach? He's kind of giving you the lay of the land, it seems like.
Yes, I've asked Bill probably too many questions. He's been great. He comes over, he checks with me every day, basically. And he's been making my adjustment here super, super smooth. I got to know Sushi a little bit.
Resident dog.
So, yes, it's the resident dog. He's adorable. I got to work on getting treats for him. And then Carrie, our athletic director, has been super, super helpful with everything. So I'm getting my lay of the land, and everybody's been great. It's been a smooth transition so far.
So you've played soccer about your whole life, and you've been coaching now for a few years. Soccer runs in your family, though. And like you said earlier, you followed your brother on everything. You kind of, followed in his footsteps a little bit.
Yes.
It's funny because I found out this morning that you followed right in your brother's footsteps into a school with the same color scheme and the same mascot as us at a Division II school in West Virginia.
Yes.
With the Rams.
Yep.
So you just keep following them.
Yes, no, for real. He recently got a job. So I think it was last summer. He was the head coach of Shepherd University. So they even have the same SU. So it's kind of crazy, a little bit like a little serendipitous moment meant to be. I'd kind of been following him. I looked up to him ever since I was a kid. Anything I did, I used to say it was in spite of him, but now I really look up to him, and he's doing a really good job over there, turning that program around, raising a ton of money for him. So I think, I followed in his footsteps and quite literally ended up with the same mascot and logo. So I'm happy that we're in the same Ram family, in the Ram Nation. So.
All right, so you've been in Boston now for about a month. So what can you tell me so far has been some of your favorite things to do around the city, some of your favorite places to eat, grab a bite, grab a coffee, anything like that around town? Yeah,
great question. This is the good stuff. So I live up in the Orient Heights area of East Boston. So there's this awesome little, I think it's called the Greenway Trail, that goes from almost my doorstep to the harbor down in near the Maverick area of East Boston, and it's beautiful. So it's a really quick walk. It's right along the T, and then once you get downtown, it's beautiful view of the harbor. So that's probably one of my best places to go. I live right near Constitution Beach, where the women and men play ice hockey. So that's kind of nice. You can watch the planes land and take off. And then food. Ooh, this is tough. I'd say in Boston, Santarpio's, is that what it is? Pizza's very good. That was a good pizza. There's this little spot that I'm looking to go to near my place called Angela's. I hear it has really good food as well. I got to do some more exploring downtown. I've been to Flower right down the road to get a coffee and a latte and things like that. Some of my girls are harping on me and telling me places to go and things to do, but
there's just too much to do. You can't hit it all in a month.
I know, right? Summer's gonna be my time to explore and see some more stuff. So.
Yeah, exactly. The summer in Boston's great, and East Boston is such a hidden gem. I feel like not as many people take advantage of it. Like you said, so much to do down there, down at the harbor, and then Santarpio's, and then one place I'll harp on you to try. Taylor Wasilk actually put me onto it, the women's hockey coach. Sammy Carlos sub shop in East Boston, right near the rink. Probably not far from you, but it's so good. Best chicken parm sub I ever had.
Chicken parm sub. It's on my list.
Yep.
Got it.
All right, Ellie. Well, thank you so much for coming on today and taking the time to speak with me today and getting your message out to Ram Nation as we approach your first ever game as a head coach in the fall of 2022. Looking forward to that. Until then, anything to say to Ram Nation?
It's been a pleasure. I'm super happy to be here. Let's go Rams.
This has been Suffolk Sounds. Don't forget to subscribe, like, rate, and review however you listen to your podcast.